Hello, my name is Alice Dade, and I'm the Associate Professor of Flute here at the University of Missouri School of Music. Today I'm going to play the Missouri All State excerpts for flute. After each excerpt, I'm going to talk to you a little bit about what I'm thinking about while I play them and how I practice them. This seems really simple, but it's really important that you think about direction the whole time. From that first A, you're going to the A 2 octaves above. So don't allow yourself to get kind of stuck with each beat. In other words, don't sound that's nice and clean, but it's not showing me where eventually you're going. You want to kind of gravitate without rushing to that last A. One other thing I want to point out, when you play the flute, make sure that you keep this angle, this right angle at all times. So I'm thinking about blowing down to my elbow while I'm playing this. The whole time. As long as this is consistent, your sound will be consistent too. This is a simple exercise, but I encourage you to make it kind of emotional. Each measure shouldn't necessarily be the same. Just like I talked about in the thirds, don't get too caught up with just playing with your metronome and letting your metronome kind of bully you into phrasing with an emphasis on each beat. It gets more and more dramatic to my ear. Okay, not much going on there. Oh, what's going to happen now? So that second to last measure has the most drama, and then it's resolved in the last measure, and the whole time you're thinking about getting to that last C sharp. This one is fun as well. Be careful with these eighth rests. Don't allow the eighth note before the eighth rest to be kind of a stop sign. You want each of these measures to lead to the next. So in other words, I don't want it to sound like it's so easy to do that, right? Because the flute kind of tells us to do that. But instead, so don't take that dot on the eighth note too literally. One other thing that's really cool about this little etude, in the second to last line, second to last measure, where you have a forte marked, this is your conflict, like in the middle of all of this happiness. So make sure you bring that out. Let's see if I can show you. So the second line. And then when you get back to the A flat at the end, it's all resolved, everything is fine. It's just for two measures, actually 4 measures, we're wondering, wait, what happened? Everything isn't fine. Oh no, it's fine, it's okay at the very end. This cute little etude is so much fun, but we as flutists tend to focus on the fact that it's short notes, so we must have them short. And then we play with a heavy tongue and everything gets stuck. Something like this. So that the notes aren't going anywhere. Yes, you're playing it short, but what are you saying through those notes? I like to practice this slurred so I can focus on how much I'm supporting and how much air I'm using to make these long lines. Then, on top of that, I add a ha for each note before I think about tonguing. So try it just saying ha on each note, no tongue. Then add your tongue so that you can kind of clarify each note, but you still have this forward motion. I practice all things short this way, and it always helps. And anything that is legato, sometimes I practice articulated. Always try and change up articulation, rhythm, anything you can. Try and think outside the box when you're practicing. Now, one thing that I want to make note of, the last line of this etude, the first measure, you'll notice that the second beat is a dotted eighth to a 16th. So if I were to play exactly what's on the page, it would sound like this. Or something like that. Actually, I'm going to play that more like a triplet, which is not what most people would tell you to do. In fact, we would always tell you do not play a dotted eighth to 16th like a triplet. But there's no good way of writing a triplet in this way, so that the first value of that beat is worth 2/8 of a triplet, and the second value is 1/8 of a triplet. So that's how I play this. Actually, I take that from, if you know Bach, Brandenburg Concerto No. 5 in the last movement. Almost every publisher does the same thing. Amidst all of these triplets, there's suddenly that value, and it's because there's no way of writing that. This one is really fun, and you got to make sure that you show that. So the key to that is to not make a big deal of the repetitions. Don't emphasize each repetition because it doesn't make sense, right? If your mom would come into your room and say, clean your room, Clean your room. Clean your room. She wouldn't say it the same way each time, right? Each time would be a little different and would probably lead to clean your room! So make sure that your repetition is going somewhere, that there's a general direction. Keep those sixteenths nice and short when it's marked détaché or martellato. We flutists are lucky to have music like this, and it's our chance to sing through the instrument. So make sure that you're taking advantage of using vibrato through these half notes. One technical thing that you need to remember is that fitting in the grace notes needs to be kind of mathematical. So in the first bar, I'm thinking of the eighth notes within the half note, and the 4 grace notes fit in the last eighth of that first half note. So something like this. If you give yourself time like that, you know how much time you have to get to the next beat, and then you can be expressive even in those grace notes. They shouldn't be too quick, so if you can't sing it, don't play it that way. Okay, one more thing that I wanted to mention. There are chances for you to use rubato. In other words, everything doesn't have to be precisely with the metronome. So as long as you compensate for time, it's okay. But just adding a beat here and there, you can't do that. You still have to play in common time throughout. That's it. I've played all the excerpts. I hope this was helpful, and best of luck to you on your auditions. If you want to know more information, follow me on Instagram at Dade Alice, DADEALICE, or contact me through the University of Missouri. Just check out our website and you'll find me there.